I'm at the bus stop with exactly $18 in my pocket.
$18.
That's all that's left after being fired 3 days ago. Fired for a theft I didn't commit. Thrown under the bus by women who used to greet me with bright smiles while quietly sharpening the knives. Jennifer from accounting with her flawless nails and venomous gossip. Sarah from HR, the one I trained when she first started. They forged evidence, stirred suspicion, and watched me fall with a satisfaction they didn't bother to hide. City lights smear across my vision through tears. All I can see is Grace, my 7-year-old, asking this morning, "Mommy, why are we having cereal for dinner again?" Trying so hard not to look disappointed. How am I supposed to explain that the world doesn't play fair? That some people wreck your life simply because they can? That the kindness and honesty I've tried to teach her are the same things that got me punished? The wind slices through my cheap jacket, the one with the broken zipper I've been meaning to replace for 2 years. I was supposed to catch the bus hours ago, but I've been stuck here, numb, trying to work out how to walk into our apartment and meet my daughter's eyes. How to tell her that tomorrow there may not even be cereal. That an eviction notice came today. That I failed her. My phone died earlier, the screen going black right after the last rejection email from the last place I'd applied to. I can't even call Mrs. Chan, our neighbor who's watching Grace, to say I'll be late. She's been nothing but patient, but I see the worry deepening every time I show up a little more shattered than before. That's when I hear it. Ugly body-racking sobs. Not the quiet kind, but the kind that makes strangers avert their eyes, uncomfortable with such raw pain. The woman beside me on the bench, I hadn't even noticed when she sat down, is shaking as she counts coins into her palm. Her fingers tremble. Mascara streaks down her cheeks in black rivers. She's wearing a very expensive-looking coat, torn at the shoulder, silk lining exposed. There's blood on her knuckles like she fought someone and lost, or maybe won. I just need $4 more, she whispers, voice cracking. Please, God. Just $4 more. I could turn away. Guard what little I have left. That's what survival is, isn't it? Protect yourself at all costs. But I can't. Her desperation is a mirror. I see myself in it. Every moment I've felt abandoned and terrified, begging the universe for just enough to get by. My hand moves before my mind can stop it. I reach into my pocket where 3 crumpled $6 bills sit, soft from being rolled and unrolled between my fingers. Here. I hold out all 3 bills. Everything. The last money I have. What was supposed to buy Grace's breakfast? What was supposed to keep us afloat for one more day? She looks up. Her eyes are rimmed in red, wild and hollow in a way I recognize too well. I can't take this. My voice comes out steadier than I feel. Whatever's going on, you need it more than I do. It's a lie and it burns on my tongue. I need this money desperately. Grace needs it. But something in her face tells me that tonight she's standing even closer to the edge than I am. I've never been able to silence that inner voice that says, help, even if it guts you. Maybe that's why I'm sitting here at midnight with nothing. Maybe that's why people like Jennifer and Sarah crushed me so easily. Maybe I'm broken. Or maybe this is just who I am. Her fingers close around the bills and she breaks. Huge, heaving sobs shake her entire body. Thank you, God. Thank you. I don't even know how to. You don't have to. I tell her, and I mean it. Just be safe, okay? Whatever this is, wherever you're going, just be safe. She nods frantically and clutches the money like a lifeline. Like these few bills might be the line between disaster and survival. Maybe they are. Who am I to decide what counts as an emergency? She stumbles toward a taxi that's just pulled up, nearly twisting an ankle in those expensive heels, and disappears into the back seat. I watch until the red taillights vanish around the corner. Then I'm alone again. Completely alone. I have $0, a 5-mile walk ahead, and worn-out shoes with holes in the soles, stuffed with cardboard to keep out the pavement. I start walking. The city is different at night when you're on foot. When there's no vehicle to cocoon you, you're just a body moving through darkness. Each block stretches into eternity. Every corner feels like it could be danger. I pass shuttered storefronts behind metal grates. Homeless men huddled in entryways. Groups of drunk kids laughing too loudly, oblivious in their safety and privilege. My feet throb. The cardboard in my left shoe has slid out of place, bunching painfully. But the ache in my chest is worse. I replay what I did over and over. I can't decide if I'm the biggest idiot alive, or if there's simply something wired in me that forces me to give even when I have nothing. Maybe that's not brokenness. Maybe that's my one saving grace. Or my curse. Maybe both. Grace is probably asleep by now, curled up on Mrs. Chen's couch with her worn stuffed rabbit, the one I bought 3 Christmases ago that she refuses to sleep without. Mrs. Chen will have made sure she brushed her teeth, said her prayers. Grace always prays that Mommy finds a good job, and that we can get a puppy. She's been asking for a puppy since she was 4. Every time I tell her we can't afford it, something inside me crumbles. I used to pray for good jobs and puppies too back when I believed prayer changed things. Now I just pray I can get through each day without falling apart in front of her. Around mile 3, somewhere near the old factories, my phone flickers back to life just long enough for one text. Running late. Sorry. We'll explain. 8% battery. Then it dies again. This time for good. I keep walking past factories, over the railroad tracks, through neighborhoods that go from bad to worse and slowly back to almost okay again. By the time I reach our building, it's past midnight. My feet are raw. I can feel blisters torn open, damp with blood. The exhaustion isn't just physical. It's in my bones, my soul. The kind that makes you wonder how many times you can get knocked down before you stop getting up. Before you decide you're done trying. Mrs. Chen opens her door before I can knock, like she's been listening for me. She takes one look, my limp, my ruined shoes, the dazed, near tears expression, and pulls me into her apartment. It smells like ginger tea and old books. Comfort. Grace is asleep on your couch, she says quietly. What happened? I tell her everything. Being fired. The lies. Jennifer and Sarah. The woman at the bus stop. Giving away my last $18. Walking home alone through the night. Mrs. Chan just holds my hands in her warm ones, listening without judgment. That kindness nearly undoes me. You're too good for this world, Monica. She sighs at last, eyes full of affection and worry. But goodness doesn't pay rent. It doesn't feed a child. She's right. The world doesn't reward people like me. Chews us up. I know all that. And still, I can't bring myself to be anything else. I carry Grace home, lifting her carefully from Mrs. Chen's couch. She's heavier than I remember, all growing limbs and sleepy warmth. I breathe in the cheap strawberry shampoo scent of her hair and hold her tighter. She stirs, mumbling, "Mommy," in that drifting, half-dream voice, then settles against my shoulder. This is what matters. This little person who trusts me absolutely, who believes I can fix everything, who has no idea how close to the edge we are. I have to find a way. I tuck her into her narrow bed with the princess sheets she picked out, smooth her dark curls, so much like mine, and whisper promises I don't know how to keep. It's going to be okay, baby. Mommy's going to fix this. I promise. Then I collapse on my own mattress, still wearing my clothes, coat, even my shoes. I'm too tired to move. Sleep won't come. I stare at the ceiling with its water stain shaped like Florida, and listen to Grace's soft breathing through the thin wall. I see that woman's face again and again. Her bloodied knuckles. Her torn coat. Her shaking hands. What happened to her? What kind of danger was she running from? And beneath that, a brutal question thrums. Am I insane? Did I just make the worst decision of my life? Because tomorrow my daughter will wake up hungry, and I have nothing. Tomorrow the landlord might show up. Tomorrow. Always looming, and I'm never ready. Morning slices through the thin curtains too soon. At 7 a.m. Grace barrels into my room, bright and buzzing, her world still safe. Mommy, can we have pancakes with chocolate chips? My heart clenches. How about cereal, baby? Her face falls just a little. And that tiny shadow of disappointment hurts more than all the cruelty back at the office ever did. Okay. Can I have the one with the marshmallows? We're out of the marshmallow kind. We're almost out of everything. Sure, sweetheart. I say anyway. I pour the last of the off-brand corn flakes into her bowl, scraping out dusty crumbs, when there's a knock at the door. 3 sharp, confident knocks that echo in the tiny apartment. My stomach drops. That knock usually means trouble. Landlord, utility shutoffs, social services. I open the door, brace for disaster. Instead, A man in a spotless chauffeur's uniform stands in the dingy hallway, looking like he stepped out of a magazine into the wrong world. Tall, gray-haired with kind eyes. "Monica Rivera?" he asks, voice formal but gentle. "Yes." My voice is thin and tight. "I'm here to escort you downstairs, ma'am. Miss Lancaster is waiting for you." "I who?" He gives a small, polished smile. "If you'd come with me, everything will be explained. This has to be a scam. Or a mistake. Or a dream. None of it fits my life." Grace peeks around me wide-eyed. "Mommy, who's that?" The chauffeur smiles at her, and the warmth in it softens his whole face. "Hello, young miss. Would you and your mother like to meet someone very special?" Every instinct screams, don't. Strange men don't just show up with mysterious invitations at 7 a.m. But his eyes look honest. And honestly, what do I have to lose anymore? "Grace, go get your shoes," I say. 5 minutes later, we're walking down the chip stairs, past the graffiti, past Mrs. Rodriguez's blaring TV, and out onto the sidewalk. Then I see it. A Rolls-Royce. A real one. Gleaming black, polished to a mirror shine. Parked in front of our building like it took a wrong turn out of a different universe. The spirit of ecstasy hood ornament glitters in the morning sun. People stare. Of course they do. Mr. Jackson from the corner store has stopped sweeping. A pack of skateboarders stands frozen mid-conversation. The chauffeur opens the rear door with a white-gloved hand. Inside sits the woman from the bus stop, but transformed. Her hair is swept into a perfect chignon. Her makeup is immaculate. She's dressed in a charcoal suit that probably costs more than I've made in a year. Diamond earrings flash. The only thing unchanged is the vulnerability in her eyes. "Monica," she says, my name breaking on her voice like it's fragile. My tongue feels glued to the roof of my mouth. The idea that she's the same sobbing woman counting coins last night seems impossible. "Please get in," she says softly. "I have so much to tell you." Grace is already halfway into the car, unbothered by class divides or social rules, so I climb in after her, feeling like I'm stepping out of my life and into someone else's. The interior is unreal. Butter-soft leather. Perfectly calibrated climate. A faint, expensive scent of jasmine and vanilla. A built-in cooler with water bottles in crystal holders. Grace touches everything with reverent fingers, sensing instinctively that this is special. "I'm Charlotte Lancaster," the woman says, offering her hand. Her shake is firm but kind. "And you saved my life last night. I just gave you money for a taxi." No, her tone leaves no room for argument. "You did much more than that. Let me explain." The car glides away so smoothly I barely feel the movement as her story unfolds. She's the CEO of Lancaster Enterprises, one of the region's biggest tech companies. Last night she was leaving a charity gala. One of those glittering events where rich people applaud each other for their generosity. When her car was ambushed. By her own people. Her driver, Marcus, who'd been with her family 15 years. Her assistant, Rebecca, who she'd almost called a friend. Her head of security. Trusted staff who'd apparently been plotting for months, maybe years. They took everything. Her Bentley, her phone, her cards, the $5,000 emergency cash she kept in her purse. Stranded her in an unfamiliar neighborhood as part of a twisted power game, wanting her to feel helpless before they disappeared with millions in embezzled funds. "I had nothing," she says quietly, and I can still hear the shock in her voice. "For the first time since I was a child, I was truly powerless. I've never known what it is to be afraid like that." She stares out the window for a moment, then continues. "I was trying to reach my brother across town. He's the only person I could trust. He doesn't work for me. But I was short on the fare. I scraped together change from my coat pocket, from a coffee shop earlier, but it wasn't enough." She looks at me. "And then you appeared. Anyone would have." No, her interruption is sharp. "They wouldn't. 7 people passed me while I sat there. I counted. 7 saw a woman crying, obviously distressed, and either hurried away embarrassed or looked at me like I was something filthy. You were the only one who stopped. And you didn't just stop. You gave me all you had. We're passing tree-lined streets and big old houses now. Places I've never had a reason to be. I don't understand why you're here," I whisper. Charlotte reaches into her sleek leather purse and pulls out 3 familiar bills. My $18. I know them by the folded crease, the coffee stain. She smoothed them, but they're undeniably mine. I'm returning what's yours, she says, plus more. She hands me a thick, expensive envelope. My fingers shake as I open it. A check slips out. My eyes snag on the numbers. I count the zeros once, twice, 3 times. $50,000. I can't take this. I blurt, panic rising. This is too much. I can't. You can. And you will. Her tone is the kind that runs boardrooms. But that's not the main reason I'm here. She takes a breath. Monica, I had my team look into you last night. Thoroughly. I know what happened at your job. I know you were framed by Jennifer Marsh and Sarah Chun. My throat tightens. Hearing their names from her lips feels surreal. How? I have resources, she says simply. And I've seen this before. Ambitious women destroying another woman to claim one of the few rungs on the ladder. It's disgusting. I won't tolerate it. Her gaze sharpens, pinning me. I want you to work for me. I was just an admin assistant. Not even a good one, apparently. You have what matters most to me now, integrity. Her voice softens, but there's steel underneath. Real integrity. Do you know how rare that is? Her expression flickers, some of the polish cracking. My entire inner circle, my security team, my assistant of 8 years, my head of finance, people I trusted, people I paid well, treated decently. Every one of them betrayed me. Calculated, ruthless. They saw me as a wallet, not a person. She leans closer. But you, a woman with every reason to cling to what little you had, chose compassion. You gave away everything that stood between you and complete destitution to help a stranger. That tells me everything I need to know. It's too much. Too fast. Like I've been dropped into someone else's life. I'm offering you a position as my personal operations coordinator, she says. You'll help me rebuild my inner circle, audit our security, work directly with me on sensitive projects. You'll learn how the company runs from the inside. She doesn't hesitate on the next part. Salary is $200,000 a year. Full benefits. Housing assistance if you need it. A signing bonus. $200,000. Sounds imaginary. Like numbers in a Monopoly game, not something attached to me. Why me? I whisper, voice cracking. Charlotte's eyes soften. Because you remind me of my mother before she died. Kind even when it cost her. She passed when I was 19 and I've spent 15 years building walls. But you reminded me what real strength looks like. What goodness looks like. You're stronger than you know, Monica. Stronger than me, in the ways that matter. Grace tugs on my sleeve, grounding me. Mommy, can we say yes? I like this car. Does it have movies? Charlotte laughs, bright and unguarded. You have a very smart daughter. And yes, the car has movies. We can watch something on the way to the office, if you'd like to see where you'll be working. She's my everything. I say, the words coming out fierce. Nothing happens if it isn't good for her. I wouldn't expect anything less. Charlotte's smile is full of understanding. There's a private academy a few blocks from the office. I've already made inquiries. I can arrange admission. There's also an on-site daycare at the building for days you need it. Full medical, dental, vision, mental health support, retirement. Everything you and Grace need. Everything. The word echoes through me like a bell. Everything I've tried and failed to give my daughter. Everything that's always felt out of reach. Tears spill over before I can stop them. Yes, I breathe. Yes, I'll take it. Joy breaks over Charlotte's face, transforming her. For a second, I see the woman from the bus stop again, raw and human under all that power. Thank you, she says quietly, like I'm the one doing her a favor. You have no idea what it means to have someone I can trust. To not be alone in this. But I do understand. I recognize the same loneliness, the same exhaustion from carrying too much alone. Maybe we're more alike than our bank accounts suggest. The car pulls up to a sleek glass and steel tower. Lancaster Enterprises. The sign reads in shining letters. This will be my workplace. My new life. Mommy, is this real? Grace asks, practically vibrating with excitement. Are we really not going to be poor anymore? The word poor hits like a fist. She's known all along. Yeah, baby, I say, pulling her close. This is real. Things are going to be different now. And for the first time in a long time, I believe it. The first weeks blur by in a rush of learning and adjustment. Charlotte hadn't exaggerated. The job is intense. I'm thrown into the deep end. Systems, protocols, security frameworks. But she's patient. So patient. There's a gentleness in the way she explains things twice without making me feel stupid. We spend early mornings combing through security footage from the night of the betrayal. Late evenings interviewing potential hires. Lunches where she walks me through departments. A steadying hand on my shoulder as she introduces me. Slowly something shifts. It's in small things at first. The way her hand lingers just a second longer on my shoulder. How she remembers my coffee, 2 creams, 1 sugar, always in a real mug. The way she asks about Grace like she actually cares, later sending a stack of books to our new apartment that are exactly the sort Grace loves. How was Grace's first day at the academy? She asks one evening. The office is mostly dark, city lights glittering outside. She loved it. I'm tired, but it's the good kind. She already made 2 friends. Emma and Sophie. They're in her art class. I'm glad. Charlotte stands at the window, suit jacket off, silk blouse glowing softly in the lamplight. Watching you with her. It reminds me of my mother. Before she got sick. There's a note of grief there that tugs at me. I'm sorry, I say. Don't be. It's a good memory. She turns, looking at me with something I can't name. She used to say that real power isn't about control. It's about connection. I didn't understand that until recently. Until the bus stop? I ask. Until you, she corrects gently. The air changes. Thickens. I should go back to the reports on my desk, keep things professional. But I can't look away from her. I should go, I whisper. Grace will be waiting. Monica. She says my name like it's sacred. Stay. Just for a moment. I stay. She crosses the room, every step measured. Up close I can smell her perfume, sandalwood and something floral. She stops just in front of me. I can see tiny gold flecks in her green eyes, the rapid flutter of her pulse. May I ask you something personal? She murmurs. I nod. That night at the bus stop, were you afraid? Giving away everything to a stranger. Terrified, I admit. Honesty feels necessary now. But I was more afraid of the regret. Of turning away and becoming the kind of person who could ignore someone else's pain. I thought so. Her hand lifts like she's going to touch my face, but hesitates inches away. Her fingers tremble. You're extraordinary. Do you know that? My breath stutters. Charlotte, this is we shouldn't. I work for you. There are boundaries, power dynamics. I know, she says in a rush. And we'll navigate them carefully. But I can't pretend anymore that nothing is happening. I think about you all the time. About you at that bus stop, about the way you talk about Grace. Her eyes search mine. About how my entire day brightens when you walk into my office. Tell me I'm not alone in feeling this. I should be professional. Step back. Protect both our reputations. But her hand is right there, warm in the air between us. And her presence feels like the first safe place I've had in years. I feel it. I breathe. God, Charlotte, I feel it so much it scares me. The smile that breaks across her face is soft and radiant. Don't be scared, she whispers. Yes, it's complicated. Everything worth having is. But we don't have to figure it out alone. Her thumb brushes my cheekbone as her hand finally cups my face. I close my eyes, shivering at the contact. She's so close I can feel her breath against my lips. She doesn't move any farther. She's waiting for me. I close the gap. The first kiss is featherlight, testing, all careful hesitation. Her lips are soft, tasting faintly of peppermint tea. Then her hand slides to the back of my neck, my fingers find her waist, and the kiss deepens, gathering urgency. Years of loneliness and longing spill out. Every night I cried myself to sleep. Every time I felt invisible. She kisses those ghosts away. When we part, we're both breathless. Wow, she whispers. Yeah, I manage, dazed. Wow. We stand with our foreheads pressed together, just breathing. This is real. I ask. Very real. Her arms wrap around my waist, anchoring me. We'll be careful for your sake. For Grace. But I will protect what we're building. I'll protect you. I don't need a protector, I say, pulling back just enough to meet her eyes. I need a partner. Someone who sees me as an equal. That's exactly why I'm falling for you, she says. Because you won't let me hide behind my title. You see me, Monica. Not my money. Not my company. Me. My heart stumbles. Falling. She smiles almost shy. I've been falling since you handed me $18 in the dark. Maybe before. Maybe the universe has been pulling me toward you for a long time. That night was just when I finally caught up. I want to tell her it's too fast, too intense. But I can't because the same gravity is pulling at me. Grace asks about you, I say instead. When you're coming over again. You promised to teach her chess. The tenderness in Charlotte's expression makes my chest ache. I'll come this weekend. We'll order pizza, play chess, have a movie night. Normal things. Normal things. With Charlotte Lancaster. In my tiny apartment with the leaky faucet. I can't help it, I laugh. What? She asks, amused. Nothing. Just my life got weird very quickly. Good weird, she teases. I pretend to think about it. The best kind of weird. That weekend Charlotte shows up with 3 pizzas, a gorgeous wooden chess set, and a stuffed unicorn almost as big as Grace. My daughter shrieks with joy, bouncing in circles around the living room. Watching them together, Charlotte sitting cross-legged on my ragged carpet, teaching Grace how each piece moves, taking the game as seriously as a board meeting, I feel something open in my chest. Something that had been locked shut for years. Mommy, I'm winning. Grace crows, sliding her queen with intense concentration. Charlotte's letting you win, baby. I say from the couch, sipping the wine Charlotte brought. I am absolutely not. Charlotte protests, eyes sparkling. Grace is a natural. She's thinking 3 moves ahead already. Grace beams. Charlotte winks at me when Grace isn't looking. This is joy. Not just surviving but actually living. Building something good out of the ruins. Later, after Grace falls asleep clutching her unicorn, Charlotte and I sit on my tiny balcony, sharing the last of the wine under a hazy city sky. Thank you, I say. For what? For tonight. For making her feel special. For, the words stick. For seeing us. Not just our problems. Us. Her hand finds mine in the dark. Thank you for letting me in, she says. I know trust is hard after everything. It is. I squeeze her hand. But with you it feels possible. Like maybe I'm allowed to have good things. You are, she says fiercely. You're allowed to have everything. And I believe her. That's the miracle. The next few months are a careful dance. At work we're strictly professional. Outside of it we build a life. Charlotte becomes a constant presence. Weekend breakfasts where she flips chocolate chip pancakes for Grace. Trips to the park where Grace solemnly instructs her how to swing higher. School plays where Charlotte sits beside me, sliding her fingers into mine in the dark. Is Charlotte your girlfriend? Grace asks one morning while I'm braiding her hair. My hand still. Would that be okay? Grace shrugs, unconcerned. Yeah, she's nice. And you smile more now. You didn't smile much before. That night in Charlotte's penthouse kitchen, I tell her what Grace said. What did you tell her? She asks, dicing vegetables like she's done it all her life. The truth. That you make me happy. She sets down the knife and turns to me. And what makes you happy, really? It's more than a casual question. She's asking about us. About the future. You, I say simply. This. Coming home to someone who wants to hear about my day. Watching you with Grace. Building something that isn't just getting by. I step in behind her, wrap my arms around her waist, and rest my cheek between her shoulder blades. I spent so long thinking happiness wasn't for people like me. That being a single mom meant giving up on this part of myself. She turns in my arms, cradling my face. You are extraordinary, she says. As a mother, as a woman, as my partner. I love you. The words tumble out before I can stop them. I love you too. Her smile is dazzling. I think I've loved you since that bus stop. I just didn't have a name for it yet. She kisses me and the past falls away. All the pain and hardship blur into background noise. Right now there is only this, the steady, overwhelming fact that I am loved. That someone loves my daughter too. Loves all my broken edges and doesn't see them as flaws, but as part of the whole. Tears prick my eyes. Hey, she whispers, brushing them away. What's wrong? Nothing. I laugh, half sobbing. That's just it. Nothing's wrong. I just never thought I'd have this. Someone who loves every part of me. Every piece of you is beautiful, she says, voice low and sure. Your toughness. Your empathy. The way you handed a stranger every dollar you had. That isn't brokenness, Monica. That's wholeness. That's love. 6 months later, Grace has her own room in Charlotte's penthouse. Purple walls. Glow-in-the-dark stars on the ceiling. Posters of her favorite singers. At company events, Charlotte introduces me openly as her partner. Her hand rests warm and proud at the small of my back. People gossip, whisper about power imbalances and gold digging and inappropriate relationships. We hear it. We see the stares. We don't care. Because it's real. I think about that night at the bus stop sometimes, lying beside Charlotte while Grace sleeps down the hall. I think about the woman I was then, exhausted, defeated, convinced I was at the end. And I think about how choosing kindness when I had nothing left changed everything. Charlotte shifts in her sleep, pulling me closer. Love you, she mumbles. Love you too, I whisper into the dark. I mean it with every scarred, healing part of me. Here's what I've learned, what I wish I could tell anyone who feels like I did that night. Life owes us nothing. Happy endings aren't guaranteed. But sometimes when we choose to be kind even when it hurts, especially when it hurts, when we refuse to look away from each other's pain, we make room for miracles. I gave away $18 when it was all I had. In return, I got everything I didn't know I was missing. A partner who truly sees me, a home that feels safe, a future that doesn't terrify me. More than that, I showed Grace that compassion isn't weakness. That helping others, even when it costs you, is what makes us human. Charlotte and I are building something brave and beautiful. Not because it's easy, but because we chose each other when both of us were breaking. We saved each other. Grace will grow up knowing that love comes in many forms. That family is built not just by blood but by choice. That the people who change your life forever might be the ones you help when you think you have nothing to offer. If you're out there struggling, wondering if anything will ever get better, hear this: be kind. Even when it seems impossible. Even when logic tells you can't afford it. You never know when your small act of compassion might be a turning point for someone. You never know when that person might turn around and change your life in ways you can't imagine. You never know when $18 might buy you forever. And if you've loved who you love and been judged for it, know this: your love is real. Your family is real. You are not less because you chose a path others don't understand. If I had to live it all over again, I'd hand over that $18 every single time. Without hesitation. Because love is always worth the risk. Connection is always worth the vulnerability. And sometimes when we give everything we have left, the universe hands us back something far greater than we ever dared hope for. This is my story. Our story. How losing everything led me to the one thing that matters most: love. If you're still with me, if anything in this touched something in you, I want you to know, you're not alone. You deserve love. You deserve to be seen. And you have more power than you think to change someone's life. Maybe even your own, no matter how little you feel you have to give.